Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Mitch, and on today's episode, we just chat about what we've been up to. Just me and Pete. Sorry to disappoint.
and and by the way this episode has started, it's going to be one of those. I've been ill. You've been just
Tired.
you.
Tired.
and
Busy.
Well, let's start with the comment of me interrupting you too much, shall we? On the
I have no idea what you're talking about. No, I got my daughter the other day, Brooke, she's 18. She, out of nowhere, just went, I don't like Pete very much. And I don't even know that she's aware of the show, let alone you. So I was like, Pete who? She said, Pete off the podcast. And I was like, well, firstly, welcome to everyone else's world that's ever met Pete. But secondly, what do you mean? Like, why don't you like Pete? She went, well, I listened to one of the episodes, and I was like, what episode? And she was sort of giving me loads of references, and I wasn't really getting to it. And she went, there was something about chill out, young man, or something. And I was like, oh, chill out, Grom. And I was like, all right, what is it though? What happened that you don't like Pete? And he went, he's always interrupting you. And I was like, Brooke, I'll be honest with you. You've probably picked the one episode of, I don't know how many we've done together, but you've probably found the one episode where that's not the case. And I was genuinely that. I was like, Brooke, it's normally the other way around. I'm normally the one that just does all the waffle and Pete does all the stomp. But I said, no, it's the other way around. You've just found one episode. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's made me laugh no end to the fact that, like, when you were telling me about it, I was just like, it just really made me laugh, the fact that the one episode she could find is probably one where I had loads of time to interrupt you. So
it's true. And actually, speaking of that episode as well, I know I've said this a few times on the show, but like the amount of almost every day somebody comes up at Lost Shore when I'm at the office and it's like, oh, I love the podcast and all this stuff, and it's really cool. But I was in, what day are we on? We're on Thursday. On Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday morning, might even have been yesterday, but I wanted to capture the manoeuvres session. That's the 9 a.m. session, right? So, you know, as long as there's no wind and stuff, you just get that glassy first wave. And I'd set up the camera and stuff. I wanted everyone walking out, then paddling out, then I was going to shift around the corner, get them taken off, and then a few wipeouts sort of thing. Yeah. And literally, I'm stood setting up my camera, and all I heard was, chill out, Grom, from afar. And so I went over, was obviously laughing, and a few other people laughed. And the guy was just like, I love the podcast. But I've had that, honestly, it's happened so much.
What was his name?
Fuck off.
What?
I don't know. I'm really bad with names, and it breaks me because I used to be, work with so many people in the army. You just get your own method of remembering people's names really quickly. Yeah. And I feel like I've e-purged that since I left the service. But there was another dude I got in on it wasn't a staff session actually, it was one of my own sessions. I got in on turns on the right side, I think Tuesday. And I got on this wave and I was at the end of it, and I'd done for me it was quite an aggressive snap, and I was really chuffed with it. And I remember thinking, that was a really good one. And then I was trying to kick off my wave, and I just heard all these blokes cheering in the corner, and I looked back and I'm like, I don't know who they are, but I was about to claim the cheer because I'm thinking they're cheering at me, and I turn around and I see this dude on a wave behind me. And he's like just surfing along, and it's obviously his mates because I see him waving back at them, and I was like, that's embarrassing. And I said to him, I was like, oh mate, genuinely thought they were cheering on me, like I've just gone on an emotional roller coaster. And he went, I recognise your voice. I was like, I don't know, because I never know how to react to that even now. And
the voice is the voice of people's nightmares.
Yeah. He's like, you on a podcast or something? I was like, yeah, that's me. But again, so the point of all of this was, I know you told me your name. I want to say it was George, for that guy in the water who I tried to steal his claim off of, and support from his mates. But for everyone that does listen and comes and says hello, like it's awesome for us because it still baffles us that people want to listen to us waffle shit, but you do. Yeah. And my only question back at you for all these people that listen: where's all the comments? on Instagram. Where's the comments?
Do you know what? I think today, I just checked, we hit 6,000 followers on Instagram today. So that was pleasant. Thank you.
Well done, Pete. Is that the limit of your social media knowledge?
That was the limit of my social media, and I went surfing, and what else happened? Well, I'll tell you my story about surfing. I went surfing. I went to Bude for the weekend to go surfing. Didn't surf, spent the whole weekend ill. Spent most of last week ill and just feeling like absolute crap. So, went surfing but didn't actually surf.
Why did I think you had a surf?
Because I'd spoken to you and I was going, and then I was just ill. So, yeah, didn't. Like,
what
proper
type
ill.
of illness
like,
did you get?
Like COVID ill.
Is that why you've got a horrendously... I don't know what you're going on with your facial hair right now, but...
What? I was trying to look like you.
Well, you're not pulling it off. I can't work out what I'm getting. Like, bottom half's like a really cheap, nasty, ill George Michael. There's somebody you look like, and I cannot work out who it is. Especially with that hat on, you look like you've just robbed some old deal's house. You've gone into their cellar like cheaper gas and electric, and you've robbed all their stuff. So you look like and your fat arse has fucking deleted all your footprints on the way out.
Hey, mate, I've been eating better. I've been sleeping better. I've been doing exercise. I've been everything to get me surfing fit, apart from actual surfing. Because when do all the other stuff, and it makes you ill. Apparently, I could live my whole life eating Haribo and drinking Coca-Cola and not get ill. As soon as I change to like water and like healthy food, I'm like that. My body goes, what's this? Fruit. But no, it's been really good actually. I've been eating really well. I've been exercising and I've been losing weight, and it's all good. So, you're
looking good. To be fair, you're looking good.
Yeah, so it's all good. What about you? I was going to say you've been surfing, but you fucking work in a surf resort. Of course you've been fucking surfing.
Oh yeah, I have. I've been surfing. Do you know what? Actually, I'll maybe do this backwards, but. We have we have two staff sessions a week. I don't know why I'm struggling to talk. I have been all week. We have 2 staff sessions a week, right? And Thursdays is turns for us. And I've kind of committed to, I'm only going to do backhand on staff sessions, because I figure, I might as well commit to it, because everyone needs to learn backhand, really. If you want to progress anyway, you do. If you don't want to progress, do what you want and enjoy it. But so that's my commitment, is backhand and staff sessions. That's all I'll do, unless there's a random reasons why we can't do left side. So I went in on one of I've got 3 Tiki Demo boards. I've got the Parrot Twin, and I now know it's called the Parrot Twin and not the Twin Parrot, which I think I keep saying. I've got the Tiki Custom. We've got a 7.6. Weirdly, it looks tiny, because is yours a 7.6?
7.6, yeah.
It's a 7.6. This is, I think it's the newer version of yours. So yours.
Oh yeah, fucking you got the better one now. Fucking here we go. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's a demo board, so it's going back. Yours is yours. So it looks a lot. It just feels a lot smaller. It's weird. And then there's another board which we can't talk about. But hopefully we can build it up, and eventually we can talk about it. So anyway, got all these 3 boards, and a load of us are kind of swapping on the boards, and I started on the board which I can't talk about, which I'll just say is more performance based. And I don't know,
why were you on it then?
I feel like I've spoken so much about all this progression recently, and today was just the undoing of everything. Don't get me wrong, on the faces of some of the backhands, like I had some sort of nice backhandish turns, if you can even call it that. And I wouldn't even call them nice turns. They were probably more like, I was trying to do a turn, I accidentally ended up right on the top of the lip on the steepest part of the wave, and had like a sheer vertical drop, and on a couple of occasions somehow rode out of it. So it wasn't that I'd done good turns, they probably looked pretty good, but I just accidentally landed somewhere I probably shouldn't have been. But like, my pop-up has just gone backwards, so much so somebody mentioned it after the session. Bertie, because we normally have a host in the water, and we have a lifeguard on the wall, but they're all coaches and lifeguards. But Bertie was like, Mitch, I've never noticed your pop-up before. So I think she has a similar, she's been trying to break her knee up pop-up, and I thought I'd got over it, and to be fair, she's the first person that said, honestly, I have no idea how you're still able to ride through the wave. Like, because it's so, you're literally going down the face on one foot, basically. And not even on the foot that can control the board. It's just horrendous.
You're surfing like Lieutenant Dan.
And I'm like, I say it obviously when we have these conversations, but I say it a lot when people are talking about that knee-up pop-up. And I'm like, you have no idea how difficult it is to actually control a board like that. Not that I want to. Like, I'd love to be able to just pop up normally, like a regular humanoid. But I don't. Yeah. But I don't know, it was just really frustrating today. Because I'm getting to when I get to my feet, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I'm able to do a little bit more than I ever used to. But still, I don't know why that's gone backwards. I don't know if I was just maybe feeling a bit more tired than I thought or whatever. But there was something I did spot today, because the TK boards we've got, because the demo boards, they're obviously covered in wax. But I've not noticed it before today. There was a couple of times where when I'm trying to pop up, either my knee or my foot has actually got stuck, like with the traction against the wax. So it's actually stopped the foot coming through properly. Whereas I think maybe my grip, for anyone that doesn't listen to the show much, like all my boards I use surf gripped. It's like a traction pad, which is the traction works a little bit different. It's not just straight up sticky. So maybe if my knee or my foot's sliding along it, it's allowing me to do that to pop up. And so I don't know if that's just a random. I don't know. It was just a frustrating.
I was just thinking, like, as you were saying that's probably a for and against for wax. The only one of the things with wax you can see on your wetsuit is points you put more pressure on, because it's normally dented, not ingrained, whatever the right word is, onto your wetsuit, like rubbed off onto the wetsuit, basically.
Transferred, yeah.
So, transferred, that's the word I'm looking for. So, like, if you push hard on your elbows or your chest, or mine's the bottom of my ribs as I pop up and lift. Yeah, the bottom of my, because I always get like really sore bottom of my ribs because I push off my bottom of my ribs as I stand up. But as I was showing someone a video of me surfing the other day, and they were like, "Oh, you've got a really slow pop up, haven't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I ride a fucking longboard."
But cheers for pointing it out.
Yeah, but no, it's like the difference between shortboarding and longboarding, how long you get to pop up on a longboard. I mean, you can pretty much just ride it prone for as long as you want, and then stand up on a longboard, and then get your deck chair out and sit down and have a cup of tea while you're you're on your wave and everything. But no, it's so. I was trying to say then, for and against for wax and stuff like that. I think if you're trying to improve stuff and you're trying to learn stuff, maybe wax is a way, like you said then, your foot was catching and sticking, which normally obviously it might just glide through on the grip, where you haven't got that stickiness as you rub across it, only once you put the pressure on it. So you've got like for and against for it there. So if you're using wax, maybe your pop up would have had to have changed, and you would have improved that differently. If you get what I mean?
No, for sure. And don't get me wrong, wax is great. It just straight up does what it's supposed to do. And I'm not saying the gripped. Well, actually, gripped isn't better, but it's neither is it worse. I'm not a good enough. Yeah. I've always said this since I used it. I'm not a good enough surfer to add any level of restriction to my surfing. So if I was moving about on the board, like when I'm paddling, or my feet were slipping when I'm trying to do anything on the board, I wouldn't use it. But once, I think the way, unlike, in my opinion anyway, unlike any other version of traction pads, so the RS Pro, Hexa Traction, I feel like they're just super abrasive. And I can't remember which one, but I know one of them, I've seen it damage wetsuits with some team riders that have got their new suits. They've used that stuff, and it's literally like sandpaper, just ruined their chest. The grip stuff, if you were just to run your hand over it, either bare skin or in a glove, it doesn't feel that sticky. So straight away you'd be like, oh, that's rubbish. Or you think, oh, maybe it needs to be wet. That doesn't change anything. That stuff, it's really soft. It really comes into its own when your weight is on it. Yeah. So when you're lying, when you're standing, then it's a bit like wax. It's got that same sort of thing. Yeah. And I use it because, most of my boards, well, generally my boards have my own tartan on them, so I've got a lot of artwork. Plus, East Coast surfer, like, we've got that mineral in the water up here that turns wax black, and you're constantly just having to clean it and whatever, if you care about your boards anyway. But that's why I use it. But also then, I don't have to turn up at the beach or at work and go re-wax a board again and again and again. Yeah. I'm just board out of the bag. I'm in the water, gone.
I do. Really so two longboards that I've got. One, my newer one that Dom made, the custom one, is covered in grip, and I really like that. And every time I've used it, I never have a problem with it. I got a couple of bits on the edge, which is down to user error, where they've started to peel slightly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've got some more back here somewhere actually that I could put on it still. And then my other one, which is my shit one, the one I've surfed like the bore with and everything like that, that's got wax on it still because I didn't have enough grip. Because Sam sent some grip to me, but I think he didn't only had one container free at the time to send me enough for a longboard. Right. So it's like, you got sent the same amount and you gripped like 4 shortboards to like one longboard. It's like ridiculous. But yeah, so I use both. I use wax and gripped, and to be honest, when surfing them, I can't tell the difference myself. It's not something that's that noticeable where you're like, oh, I'm surfing on something different, is what I'm trying to say there. So the wax and the gripped, whichever one you're using, I think they're pretty much within like 5% range, I'd say, for my ability and as for your ability as well, as you're saying. Is you don't notice that much difference on it. So I think it's great. But as we were saying on Tiki, while we're on Tiki as well, on the boards that you've been using and the board I've been using and everything, we should announce the winner for the competition as well, shouldn't we? Because that's
you should, yes.
You should. That's me, because you don't know who it is, do you?
No.
It is Vulcan Woody, apparently, and we've got a message from Tiki saying they've picked the winner, and they'll be messaged on Monday. So this comes out Sunday. Monday they'll get messaged, and they've won the Tiki hat. And then the next one will be going live next week, which will be the hooded wetsuit vest, which I believe you've got, haven't you, Mitch? One of those?
I have got, but actually Ethan's now got, so Ethan is using that pretty much all the time. Actually, the water's got a lot warmer, so there's been a few sessions where hoods aren't needed. But yeah, so Ethan's got that, and that's a great, that turns a non-hooded 4mm suit into a 5mm with a hood if that's what you're going to be surfing in the cold water.
What's he think of it?
Oh, he's loving it. He's surfing on a Zephyr as well, actually, as it happens. And I'm not sure what suit he was using before. I think he was actually in a Hyper Freak, but it's a good few seasons old. And he was saying he's never been hotter, because there was a couple of sessions I was in with him. Our water got down to just above zero. At its coldest. And but then for kind of a long period, it was sat around 3 degrees or thereabouts. Now, there's no getting away from the fact that is fucking freezing. And it's a hard one to, well, it's an easy one to explain, but a difficult one to get the point across, because anybody listening that has come and surf Lost Shore, you will know you just don't stop. Like, you are either surfing or paddling. There isn't this long wait in the lineup waiting your turn again. It's literally you're back and you go again, to the point where you sort of try and time your paddle back out in the hope you'll get there in between the sets. So you just want to stop.
I was going to ask, is that because of it's longer than the wave, isn't it? Yeah. The Bristol wave, because I haven't surfed Lost Shore yet, so I can only go on what I've surfed at Bristol Wave. So Bristol Wave, when you paddle back up there, sometimes you can get there and you're back on the same wave again. But I suppose because the wave's a bit longer, the paddle back's even longer as well.
Well, no, you do, but you end up in a natural rhythm at some point, depending on where you kick off, fall off, or whatever.
Have you seen me surf?
but actually, most of the time you'll get back, and there's probably still a couple of waves in the set. So depending on what type of wave we push, that dictates how many waves are in the set, because the bigger the wave, or it's not necessarily the bigger, but the more punchy the wave, the less waves we push, because the water needs to dissipate and settle so we can push the next set. Otherwise, you just end up with a howling mess. So it's a long ass paddle back. I mean, we'll all be thankful for it in the long run. But in the short time, you're trying to paddle back, and you can see, well, there's 2 more waves in that set, and there's only 1 surfer. And it's honestly, I actually had one today where I literally got straight back, and there wasn't a minute to stop. So it was like I paddled and just paddled onto the wave again. And I think that set the tone, because that was the first one I properly just creamed in, and then I don't know, my session just declined from there. But yeah, I don't know why I was. So the boards, so the temperature. So, at 3 degrees, that is a howlingly cold water temperature, especially in fresh water. But as long as you've got a decent suit, and we obviously know our rental suits are amazing, but it's roasting, mate. It is absolutely roasting. Where I've found it different, but like I say, that's hard to explain that to somebody. So if you've never surfed for one, or you only surf like the warm waters of Cornwall, and you're like, that's freezing. I'm like, you come and surf it and you can make your own mind up, because it just sounds like, well, of course you're going to say it's warm. But when I've been in the water with the camera housing to film, because suddenly I'm not moving on them. I think, what was one last week, the week before, maybe like 3-4 degrees, like 30 minutes. I'm starting to get needles and pins. It was brutal. But I can get out. We've got hot showers. Get out, have a hot shower, get back in and finish off my session with the housing. But have a good suit if you're going to surf that cold.
Maybe what you should do is get Ethan to do a little review on his Zephyr, as Tiki is sponsoring us now.
Well, maybe I could do that and go one further and get him to talk about the board.
Okay, so this is my 3rd session on the Parrot Twin 6.2 by Tiki. Really fun board, honestly. I've ridden it 3 times here at Offshore on the turn session, which I think is kind of the perfect wave for this board, honestly. Been getting more used to each time, because I'm used to a short board, more performance-y, a little bit less liters. This one's 40, so it's got great paddle power. Feels super easy, relaxed to ride. I feel like I approach it just like much more playfully than a performance shortboard. So just a fun board overall. And I love the way the release is on the tail, the twin fin and the fishtail. Like, I feel like it releases just enough to not slide out on my turns. So it's catching when I want it to and holding, and then it's releasing when I want it to as well. So yeah, overall really happy with this board, and honestly I would be pretty pleased to have this one in my quiver for sure, permanently. Stoked. And also back in the Tiki Zephyr 2 4.3 suit, thermal hooded vest underneath. Honestly, it's been such a staple here the last month. I was getting freezing cold before I had this suit, and the combo of these two, I'm like toasty warm throughout the session. Full Tiki, full round, and I'm loving it.
One take, dear. Well, cheers for that, boys. What a seamless link. Let's see how that went.
Lucky
watch that back.
That was only one recording to get that in as well, wasn't it? Eh?
So the point in the boards, and obviously being at Offshore, it's great. So I am giving anyone that wants to use the boards a chance to use them, just to give a bit of a video feedback review. And actually, for me, that makes it more honest, because as we know, we've said it before, Tiki are sponsoring this edition of the Devon edition of the show. I don't just want to sound like you're going to say it's a great board, because they're giving you it to use. So there's your honest feedback from people using it for the first ever time. And actually for them, it's different equipment to they've normally ridden. So, yeah.
I wish we could have broadcasted our first chat that we had with Matt and that in the office from my side of it, when I said... So I'm just going to say it. I literally went, and Mitch, I went, if you send us anything shit, we will say it's shit.
I actually said that in a meeting with them, which is brilliant. I got to sums Pete up.
That's it. And it's straight to the point.
Before I forget, the other board, the Tiki Custom. So I had Alejandro, who we've had on the show before. He was really desperate to surf that, and the 20 actually, but he was committed. Him and the Grand Kahuna, Martin, who we've spoke about in the show, absolute legend up here. They decided they were going to take turns, have half session each on the custom, right? So I had set the camera up on the central pier, just filming the left side, because that was the staff session. I think it was a public session on the right. And set everything up, go back and get my board. Everyone else is entering the water. Go back and grab my board, and I'm walking back up the central spine, and Alejandro is getting in on the left. The rip down the channel of the pier is mad. It is stupidly fast, right? It almost is so fast that because basically when you then get to the machine, where the modules are, the
Yeah.
rip stops. So you're suddenly like, have I forgotten how to fucking paddle? It goes from everything to nothing. It's actually really
Amazing.
frustrating. You go from a pro to just being us again, you know.
Yeah.
But so I'm walking back.
I've got the fucking hang. Oh shit!
I've done it. Yeah. So I'm walking back up the pier to get out of the water, and Alejandro's on the side. So he's not on the custom. He's on his own board because they're going to swap halfway through. And he's going, right, Martin's getting in behind me. He's going to, we're going to swap halfway through, right? So Ali's literally on my right because I'm facing the other way in the water. And he's talking to me, and I'm like, Martin's got a very deep and distinctive voice, like very deep and distinctive. And I'm like, swear I can hear Martin, but I couldn't see him. I'm looking round at Ali, and I'm like, I swear I can hear Martin. And I look on the other side, on the right side, on the other side of the pool, and there's Martin literally paddling out parallel to Ali, but on the other side of the pool. And I'm like, what, Martin? You're supposed to be swapping boards. What are you doing over there? So then they didn't even get a chance to swap, and Martin had gone before I got a chance to get a video review. So classic McQueenie.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Tiki, and you say they're sponsoring these editions, if you want 10% off from Tiki, use the discount code UKSurfPod, and that will get you 10% off anything you order from Tiki online, and that is on everything apart from surfboards, I think it is.
So yeah, I also got a wild surf recently, which I'm pretty buzzing about. Well, actually,
Fucking
I had the
wild surf.
I had the doorstep.
But, wait! Before you go on to your wild surf,
Yeah.
we and as you're talking about Lost Shore and Tiki as well, are we going to be doing anything with Lost Shore?
I mean, it's looking very likely.
Is it?
It's looking very likely.
Should we say what's looking very likely? What what we are doing?
No,
No?
we should just wait, and then we can do it properly.
Oh, all right then. Yeah, but this might be the last chance we get to do it properly on an actual individual episode, because the next two are coming out, and then we'll be.
Folks just gonna have to wait. Aren't they? We can announce it on social media. Anyway, this is me and you conversation, not a listener conversation. They don't care about the inner workings of our slow brains. So wild surfing.
Wild surfing then.
I'll put some videos up. Went up to St Andrews. Obviously, I think we spoke about it before. We had like a run of swell, doorstep swell, all huge, way above my ability.
So you went out for a paddle, didn't you?
Went out for a paddle on one of them, and I can't remember what day it was, but it was just, we got in at St Andrews. There was like no one in. There was me, Swanee, and another two lads, I think. No one in, and we're like, oh fuck it, we'll just get in. You know it's big, but it's like there's a lot of wind, and paddle out, and the wind was brutal. Like at first there was some nice sets. It was just big, nice sets. So we surfed like 2 hours, and maybe like, I don't know, 2-3 waves in that entire time. It was pretty savage, and the paddle back out, it was one of them days, it was just, the paddle back out was ruthless. But then like 2-3 hours in, I don't know, everything just lined up, and got towards high tide, and the wind had gone, but like the wind had died off, I think almost at the start of the session, but there's just so much water moving. Like it's just tricky and hard, but it just all lined up, and it just got absolute glass. And it was like a half-hour, 40-minute period where I was just taking off on waves that I normally wouldn't even pretend I wanted. Do you know what I mean? And it was just turbo fun. And actually, what was quite nice, my mate Fraser, he makes wooden surfboards, really good guy, far cabinet maker. We might even have spoke about him on the show before. Keen to get him on the show if we do another Scotland edition. But he was paddling back out. He was paddling back out as I was taking off on a monster bomb, and he just mentioned it when he came back. He's like, Mitch, honestly, like I can see the progression from Lost Shore from when I normally see you surf, and backhanded compliment, obviously. But
basically, may as well have said you're not as shit as you normally are.
Not as shit. I'd had to check that was you. So it was just quite nice to hear, but it's also quite nice to just be on these waves and feel competent that at least once I get on the face, I can try and do something. So that was pretty cool. That was a good session as well. I actually don't remember a lot more about that session. It's been so manic recently. It's just so much going on, Peter.
Yeah, I know. It's busy. But what can you do? You're back on the old training with the Allen Biscuit Lizard Tits Arms, aren't you?
No, I've not started yet. We had started, and then just Christmas and whatever got in the way. So the plan is to get back on.
It's like 3 months ago now.
Yeah, it's not far off, is it?
Wait, because wasn't it that you just stopped for a bit and I was a lazy bastard, and now
Yeah, that's
one
right.
of us is training again and the other one's not? Oh,
Honestly,
what's
mate,
this?
I've turned into a proper civvy. Like, I'm a right lazy fucker. I need to get back out and do some fizz. It's killing me. It's
Yeah.
just nice knowing you've done some fizz.
Yeah.
And it's been so cold and wet and miserable. I cannot be arsed.
Yeah.
I need to
Well,
get that back.
it's what happens when you work like normal hour jobs, and you can't be bothered to do it a lot of the time. It takes a bit of extra motivation when your job isn't actually being physically fit.
Well, I mean, no, but there's a
You
huge
know.
benefit to being physically fit in my job.
Yeah,
And also,
no. What I'm saying is, like, when you've got like the normal person out there who's works a normal job and likes to go surfing and has got a family life and blah blah blah. It's a lot different to having a job where someone's shouting at you to get fit and making you. Yeah,
no, but
that's what I'm
that's where you're
saying.
wrong, because
Nah, I'm not wrong. Never
you'll
wrong.
do fizz in army time, right? But it's personal discipline that will make you go and do it in your own time as well. And I always had that. So I would always go out and run and do fizz and whatever in my own time. I've just fallen out of a routine. But I guess my life is so disjointed between I'm at my own house, I'm at Special K's, I'm at work, I'm in the van. In fact, that I need to talk
At
about.
whose house?
If you want to go there, we'll go your one as well. So your choice. I'll let you ponder on that while I talk about this story. While I spin this
Good.
bit. So, I'm obviously trying to sell the old van. I've
Yeah,
transporter. I've taken
yeah.
the tartan decals off, which was devastating to do.
Is there a big white patch underneath it?
Do you know what? There's not, and that was what my worry about taking it off. But
Yeah.
it kind of sums up where I guess in part where I live, because I'm out on the promenade right beside my house with a hairdryer, literally blow dry. What looks like I'm just blow drying my van whilst peeling the stickers off, because obviously you got to heat up the adhesive,
yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
nobody's like looking at me going, "That guy's stealing decals." They're giving me tips on how to get it off. So it's all off, right? And so, but the van sat still. It's not moved for like 6 weeks, and I was like, "Oh fuck, do you know what? I bet I'll just drive it for a week, this week, and just get it moving again, whatever." So then obviously the battery's completely flat. I was like, for fuck's sake. So on Sunday, I fully charged the battery and take it to work. And about 3 o'clock in the day, one of the guys I work with, in fact, Mark, that's been on the show before, he texted me from the office next door and just sent me a picture of the front of my van. And like with no context, no text or nothing. And it was quite a sunny day. So I'm just looking at like, is he just showing me that I've removed the decals? I wasn't sure what he was showing me. So I kind of ignored it for a bit. And then I saw him and I was like, what was that photo? He went, oh, your lights are on. I was like, for fuck's sake. So I'm like, well, I just charged the battery. It's almost time to go home. Maybe I'll get away with it. And then I thought, nah, I'll go up, switch it off, switch the lights off. But I had a meeting, so I had to bomb back down to the office. Go back. Ended up being a bit of a later night, but I go back up to go home. And it was one of them nights I just wanted to go home, back to Special Case. I just wanted to get home. And obviously switched the van on. Nothing. It's completely dead, right? Not even a single attempt at a tick over. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck you. And I know it's my van just going, try to sell me, are you? That's all that's happening there. And I know it's because my new van's got like automatic lights, so you don't have to switch them on. It just does it all.
Yeah.
And the other one, so I've obviously done that. So get the van home. I'm absolutely raging about it. Anyway, get home and that's it. So I'm driving home, and I was hoping to get a booking in my flat this week. So not Airbnb in my flat, if anyone doesn't know.
Yeah.
I've been hoping to get a booking, so I'd left the flat on Saturday, Sunday, I think, but I'd left it so it was bookable. It was pristine.
Yeah.
The key was out and the lockbox and everything else. But then I've been at Special K since Saturday, Sunday. Nobody's booked in. I was like, right now, I'll go home on Wednesday. So I'm driving home Wednesday night after all of that palaver with the battery, and like I'd say I done that thing because still got the power station in the van and the trickle charger. So I was able to trickle charge the van at least from the power station, and I was sat in the back with a diesel heater on, and I was like, I got a bit too ahead of myself. I thought that'll be enough. It was like 4 minutes of battery charging from the trickle charger, and it just like completely depleted the battery trying one more tick over. So I go back down anyway, sit in the resort, get a hot chocolate, go back up. It's all fine, right? So I'm driving home. Obviously, nobody's booked into the flat, so like I'll cancel the day's booking because you can book in on the day for my place. And driving home. Stop in Morrison's, which is at the end of the road where I live, to grab something for dinner. And at that, honestly, I hear the noise, this distinctive Airbnb booking noise. And I knew, is it for Saturday? Is it for next weekend? Is it bollocks? It's for today. It's for right now. I just wanted my bed. I'd been fucked over by the van. And I look, and there it is. Just one dude's booked in for one night. And I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. So, obviously, need to cash. So, obviously, it was not that I can accept it. It's accepted. It's an auto thing. So, I'm in Morrison's with all this stuff that I've bought for dinner. Like, I guess that's going back on the shelf then. So, I just come back. I swapped the old van for the new van so I can sleep in it. And I just go park up on the prom. This is last night. Park up on the prom at the end of my road in the Esplanade car park by the beach. And I normally go to sleep quite late, like midnight sort of, but I don't know why last night it was like 10 past 9 and I'm like, I'm just going to go to sleep. I think I was just threaders with the day. I'm just going to go to sleep. In the top of my van, I don't know what you call them, I've got them two like sort of vents, the ones that spin and they pull air in and out. Spin in the wind. You might see them on like refrigeration vans. There's two of them on my van. Well, no, they're silent. They're completely silent, right? There's two of them on my van. So it gets to like, it must have been about midnight. And I just hear clunk, clunk, clunk. But it's really slow. And then I try and ignore it. I think I get back to sleep for a little bit. Clunk, 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 clunk. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it's the thing, right? And obviously it's changing. It's just developed a clunk out of nowhere, a click and a clunk it had, a click and a clunk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm bollock naked in my van, like under the duvet. I'm not getting out to fix it.
Is that the car park down where we went where we launched when we went e-foiling?
No. It's the one down other end of town.
I was going to say because that car park's used to having one of us naked in it, or actually wearing a dry robe, but your bollocks hang out the back of, so you may as well just go out anyway.
Yeah. So I try to fight through it, and I'm like, when it's like hearing a ticking clock when you're trying to sleep. You're now so like laser focused on it. You're anticipating it, like everything about it is fucking with your life. Like your heart ends up in line with the beat.
Yeah. Oh, it's nothing worse.
Oh, I can't do it. So I just get up. It's 10 to 1 in the morning. I got up and I drove to Lost Shore because I knew I was working today and I was surfing. And we've got the big quarry wall that can shelter from the wind. So I was like, I know there's no wind there. And I get there, wake up this morning, tire is completely flat. And I work on the day, do everything, have a good surf and whatever, leave to come back here and suddenly remember tire's flat. I must have stopped every like 6 miles to pump the tire back up to get home, and I was like, I'm not getting home tonight.
Well, you got home, you've recorded a podcast, you've waffled on for 40 minutes, and that's unless you got anything else you want to say, that's pretty much it. We did talk about something that we were going to ask people as well. What were we going to ask people?
We wanted to know let us know the sort of standout conversations, funny moments, or something I guess said, something we've said. If there's like a good few minutes of it, just give us a shout. Maybe it's a bit like the Ben Gravy or Men Gravy. Maybe it's, I don't know, us slating Alan Bissiker. Just whatever you find funny.
That happens a lot.
Whatever stands out, let us know, because we want to do something with that content.
I think it should be every time Mitch interrupts me, so we should do that one.
Somebody else can do that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, if you want 10% off from Surface Wetsuits, use the discount code UK Surf Show 24, and that will get you 10% off from Surface.
And if you want 10% off
use...
at TK, use this discount code UK Surf Pod, and that will get you 10% off anything except boards.
Yeah, and you've got Cookville Clothing, UK Surf Show 10. That will get you 10% off at Cookville Clothing. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, I think. Anything else you want to talk about?
No,
you want to talk about our next upcoming surf trip of where we're going and what we're going to record, and who we're going to record with.
I just want to chat more about what you look like with that facial hair and hat. You kind of got like chubby M&M looks. And I don't mean the sweets. I mean M&M.
Just eating M&Ms.
M&M eating M&Ms. Like, oh, what's the inspiration for the beard?
Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Vomit on my sweat and mum's spaghetti.
Mum's spaghetti. Well,
yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Well, there you go. No.
Surfing and stuff.
So yeah.
Done.
Surfing and stuff. Yeah, that's it. Done. Yeah, I think that's it. So don't forget, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, all of that, wherever you're listening to, and leave comments on the YouTube as well. We're getting up to that 1,000 subscribers, and that'll be nice if you can subscribe, because I think last time I looked, like 65% of the people that watch these YouTube videos don't subscribe to the channel. So just hit that little subscribe button.
Press the button,
yeah, press the button.
And then comment on every episode that ever happened.
And yeah, we'll be back next time with another one from Devon.
Bye.